Thank you all. So let's get started with our first question of the evening. And the first person that's going to begin our question answering period will be Chris Cathy. And our first question reads, what is the most important issue facing Radford schools and how can the school board address it?
Thank you. There's a lot of issues at this point in time facing Radford City schools. There are two that are currently being worked on, and there's messages coming out from the existing board. I'm sure there are a number of other issues that we are not privy to at this point in time as candidates that the existing team is working on. But at this point, the two priorities that the existing board has put forth that I want to assist with is the behavioral concerns within the schools. And our superintendent recently released a message about that, so we certainly want to get up to speed, if elected, what the existing team is working on and assist in any way possible. Secondarily is the continued research of the quality of education and the continuance of the excellence in Radford City by maintaining and pushing forward the research on the grading scale in Radford.
Ed?
My answer probably would have been different a couple of days ago, but I would say that right now our number one priority is that schools need to provide a safe environment for our students and staff alike. The superintendent's message that came out was concerning to me personally. I feel that safety is very important for our students and staff. I believe this is a non-negotiable standard, and ultimately this responsibility falls on us as the administration or the school board and the superintendent. The solution to the discipline issues our schools are facing requires strong and decisive leadership, and we need to work with the administration to ensure that the discipline problems are being handled both effectively and appropriately. We need to work with teachers and parents to identify the issues, causes, and address them head on. Students are individuals and they have diverse and individual needs and requirements. But we can't make assumptions about these individuals for the reasons and causes of the discipline issues. We need to treat every circumstance individually. We need to be consistent with our expectations, our standards, and our consequences. Because only with a foundation of safety in the schools can we even focus on education. So we need to have more discussion, and we need to continue, and actions need to be made a priority to address these discipline issues. And I believe we can work with the parents and the teachers until these issues are resolved. So that's my most important issue.
Jane?
Like everyone has said, we have a lot of issues that are facing us. The behavioral issues are most concerning in the way students are treating teachers and acting in the classrooms. And I feel, as has been voiced, that we need strong leadership in how to handle those situations and work on how we honor our teachers and their work and have our students respect and be respectful within our school system. I also feel like that the grading scale is an issue that we're going to be addressing and looking at how that better helps our students perform and succeed. We know there are physical structure challenges that we're going to be facing, and we need to face those. Another issue I feel like we need to address is representation within our administration of all students that are in our school system. We need to look at our teachers and the ratio of how many ethnic groups do we have in our school systems, and do they see themselves when they look at our administrators. So we have a lot, and as Chris said, I think we have a lot to learn that we don't know about yet. That conversations have gone on and issues have come up. So we will work to do that. I will have my ears open and talk to parents and teachers and other stakeholders to see what their leanings are in those directions as well.
Thank you. And Gloria.
Well, as a school board member, an elected official, I am bound to represent constituents. So, I may have my own ideas about some things, but it's ultimately not my decision. I want to have input from all stakeholders about the needs that they see. If I answered based on my own personal interactions with teachers and families, I would offer these. Enforcing peaceful, respectful behavior in our classrooms with consequential responses that emphasize a zero tolerance for some things. Responsibility, accountability, that's integral parts of that. Allowing some teacher autonomy in how to best handle classroom management, but with support by the administration. And I too would revisit the current grading scale that stops at 40%. As with all prioritizing, though, I'm always open to revisions based on input from families, teachers, students, and the community. But while we're on the ideas of student discipline problems, I want to take a minute to mention positive behavior intervention supports, PBIS. In the August school board meeting, it was said we would no longer use that terminology, we would call it school-wide discipline. And I've worked in school-wide discipline, I know what it looks like. What I hear still sounds like PBIS. And I want us to think about whether these are helping the learning of all our students, because discipline isn't a bad word. It's training expected to produce specific character, training producing moral and mental improvements. Is that a bad thing? Self-discipline goes right along with that. So, in the words of a very wise man, Thomas Sowell, I would say rules without consequences are not rules, they're suggestions.
Thank you. Our next question focuses along the same lines, and the question reads, what do Radford schools do particularly well, and what are the policies and procedures to sustain these? I'll repeat that again just for you all. What do Radford schools do particularly well, and what are the policies and procedures to sustain these? And we'll let Jane answer this question first.
Thank you. I think that Radford Schools does very well in the teachers that they have hired and the way those teachers interact with their students and work to support them in their growth, not only within their classrooms, but as people as a whole, who help their students, who listen, who give their students value. I think we also do well in providing extracurricular activities. I've been at school board meetings and listened to various groups who have been at competitions who come back and talk about their experiences. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the band, because that's just a dearness to my heart. But we provide theater, we provide art, and we give them opportunities to participate. Another thing that is probably an extracurricular thing, I don't know exactly how all the funding goes, but is the care we give our students through our Radford backpack program, and helping to make sure that our students are fed and nurtured when they are away from us at school, and they still have those needs.
Thank you. Ed?
So what do Radford schools do well? I think they do a lot of good things. Radford schools are one of the reasons I still live in Radford. The school system is great, and there aren't many better options in the areas. So I would like to see our schools continue with a path of excellence. I think it's important to distinguish, we have two components of the school system. We have the administration, which includes the support personnel, and we have the teachers. I believe them administration, with policy guidance, does a great overall fine job, ensuring that our schools operate effectively. The McCarg School Project is a great example of something great that's been brought to our taxpayers and students. They set goals, plans, and accomplish them to the benefit of our community. Also, we got to talk about teachers. Teachers is the most important component of our school system, and I have nothing but praise for our teachers. Teachers make the magic happen. And during the challenging COVID time, the teachers did an outstanding job of preparing lessons and ensuring that education could continue despite all the restrictions that we had. They continue to work and care for our children, and they ensure our children are prepared for the future. I don't know how policies guide that, but teachers do it regardless of any policy or restriction. So we need to make sure we put extra effort in supporting our teachers. And that's one of my core principles of school board leadership. It's the administration's job to support our teachers, and that's what I plan on enforcing. Thank you.
Chris?
Things that Radford does very well. I'll say, based on Ed and Jane's comments and what I'm anticipating Gloria's to be as well, since we know each other very well, we're family. When it comes down to it, once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat. I don't care where you go, what brings you in life in different places, you come back to that. So that's what we do the best. We adapt, we adjust, we overcome whatever comes our way, whether it was COVID or anything else. And I see it on a regular basis right now as an active band volunteer, a band parent, a color guard dad, if you want to get real specific. I'm immensely proud of the opportunity whenever I go to the competitions and I see these students' faces light up, and I see the parents there who are giving everything, and I see the late nights with our administrative staff and the folks that help out and support, the smiles that come back when it's 10, 11 o'clock at night or it's 6 o'clock in the morning. That's what we do well. We come together when we need to, and we get the job done. To Ed's point also, we make the magic happen. The policies and procedures, things that are out there, those support that. But ultimately, it's the heart of Radford. It's the heart of our teachers, our students, our parents especially, for the love of our students. That's what we do well. And as a proud Bobcat, as a proud father, a band dad, a volunteer,